What's up, everybody? We're back at PCA 2024, almost to the finish line here. Last day, day 3. We're with one of my favorite people, absolutely in the industry, Nick Melillo. One of the most knowledgeable too, man. You dropped some knowledge on us at a seminar the other day. I just wanted to thank you for that. That's good times.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun doing it, talking about Connecticut tobacco.
Yeah,
It's what got me started in this whole cigar game. So it was nice to share, some of the things that I've learned over the years.
Yeah, it was like a legit history lesson, like with slides and everything, and
yeah,
we got deep into it, right?
We did. I tried not to go too crazy, but at the same time impart some things that I know people would really enjoy to know.
Yeah.
Just the meaning of the word Connecticut,
right.
the Great Tidal River.
Yeah.
Is just, when I learned that for the first time, it was, just shed some awareness on, what, and it's because of that river that makes cigar growing cigar tobacco so important. Without that river, you wouldn't have the cigar tobacco.
Right. So during that presentation, a question popped in my head. You were talking about some of the difficulties and how hard it is to grow tobacco in certain places.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, has anybody ever tried to grow tobacco hydroponically?
Dude, it's so funny. When I first moved to Nicaragua in 03, 04, John Drew
if anyone was going to do it.
My wife at the time was really into hydroponics.
Sure.
And we had a project going temporarily about growing tobacco hydroponically. A lot of costs involved. It was kind of difficult. Not the same way, with the other, cannabis and whatnot, the prices, it's a whole different price tier.
Sure.
Compared to tobacco.
So you can justify the square footage.
Yeah, and all the costs involved.
So it's just cost prohibitive is the final answer.
Big time.
Okay.
Big time.
But it would be technically possible, and you could really control the climate, right? Like in the.
Yeah, you could. I mean, we're already facing high costs in Connecticut.
Yeah. With
how we're doing it now. So but of course you could grow hydroponically. I've never seen it done successfully.
Yeah.
But
we're not anybody knew, you would know.
Yeah, we're not as kind of advanced when it comes to machinery and tech in the cigar farming aspects, where other industries, and it's just because it's such a small market compared to other industries.
Yeah.
I mean, people kind of fail to realize sometimes how small the cigar market is compared to, say, corn crops or much larger.
Small.
So
people don't realize.
Yeah, it was an interesting question, man. Yeah. You're the first ones that's asked that.
Perfect.
In a long time.
So talking about Connecticut, I was just curious. Also coming out of that talk you gave, how many of your cigars actually use tobacco grown in Connecticut? Yeah,
so of course our Tabernacle broadleaf.
Yeah.
All uses the Tabernacle David and Goliath. Then we have the Charter Oak broadleafs. The Oxum, which is formerly Matapa, uses broadleaf from Connecticut, which is a key component to this blend, which makes this blend. Charter Oak, the broadleafs are all from there. Tabernacle 142 uses the Cuban seed, and then unfortunately the shade is grown in Ecuador. Mm-hmm. There's really no one growing shade tobacco in the valley anymore.
It's such a shame.
It's a shame. Most of it's grown in Ecuador now, the seed. There is Connecticut shade being grown in the valley, but it's not under shade. The seed is being grown in direct sunlight, so you don't get that golden color. It becomes out much, much darker. It's almost like a little bit lighter than this Claro here. So, unfortunately, even when I was at Drew Estate, I was wanting to buy Connecticut shade, but unfortunately the yields compared to Ecuador and everything, it was tough.
Yeah.
So we're trying to work on new seed varieties. Because unfortunately, what didn't happen in the late 80s is when they first brought the seed to Ecuador, the Connecticut Shade. Right then, we should have started experimenting.
Yeah.
You know, Connecticut Shade was developed in the early 1900s as I went because of we were losing out to the Dutch selling Sumatra.
Yep.
So it was Department of Agriculture, experimentation, innovation that gave birth to Connecticut Shade. So unfortunately, we haven't been that innovative there in the late 80s, 90s.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to work on with John Foster at Foster Farms and different farmers is really get the experimentation because it takes so long to, from seed, then you're planting, and then it has to go for fermentation.
Yeah, because you only get one shot every
This takes
X
years.
amount of time. Yeah.
So if it doesn't come out, if you don't get the right yields, but we need something that's high yielding because broadleaf and the Cuban seed we grow in the valley, they're tough, man, for yields. A lot of manufacturers kind of tend to lean away from them because they're so difficult yield.
Right. So something we've been hearing we've heard it at least 3 or 4 times from other companies we've talked to is how difficult it is right now just to get any Connecticut broadleaf, or good Connecticut broadleaf, depending on who you talk to. So why is that such a hard, scarce thing right now?
Wow, yeah, it's very hard, and this is why our Tabernacle, our brand has been growing. It's been in high demand, but we haven't had the inventory. Yeah. It's been mainly due to weather conditions.
Is that it?
This past summer growing season was the 3rd rainiest Connecticut summer on record. 4 years ago it was the rainiest in 50 years. So we're challenged with the weather. It's very different. When we grow tobaccos in Dominican, Honduras, Nicaragua, we're growing during the dry season, right? We don't grow we couldn't grow during the rainy season. It would be a disaster. In Connecticut, we start in April with the seed bed, so we're just going to start. And then we got to get through, really August becomes the challenge because all the heat builds up during the summer, and August is so humid, but then it generates hailstorms. We can get micro tornadoes and then rain. And then when it goes into curing barns, if we're still getting rain, you have so many issues.
Right.
So that's been the biggest challenge. So 3 years ago, 20% of the crop came out.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why it's really hard to get.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge. I'm hoping this year we can catch a break, but
it takes there's a few years of recovery time too, after that, because you have to ferment, you have to get it all ready before you can actually put it on a cigar.
That's the other challenge, man. We're looking at 2 years for broadleaf, almost 3 years for Cuban seed.
Yeah.
So imagine we're planning now for Cuban seed 2027.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a challenge
for sure. All right. Well, let's get into you have a few branding changes to talk about, right? Let's talk about that first.
Yeah. So I made a difficult decision to discontinue Wawense and the Wise Man Maduro.
Yeah.
I launched Wawense was my first blend in 2015.
Yeah.
It was a passion project.
OG.
Yeah. Nobody knew Foundation 2015. Nobody really knew who I was, except for the hardcore guys, except for the stores that, were kind of following my journey.
Yeah.
So that's what I knew they would get Wawense.
Yeah.
Just over the years, it hasn't been growing with the rest of our brands the same way. So I made a tough decision, and an opportunity arose to work with Pepin Garcia. So I decided to discontinue those and relaunch brand new blends with Pepin, Jaime over at My Father.
Yeah.
I've been working also with the grandson, Jandy, who's incredible. I've known Pepin for 20 plus years, and to work with him now it's really a true honor.
Yeah.
So we have this beautiful cigar. It's all Nicaraguan. We're using tobacco from Pepin's farms from the 3 major growing regions, Esteli, Condega, and Jalapa. It's a double binder, Esteli and Jalapa. and a Corojo Nicaraguan wrapper. It's right in that medium wheelhouse. Just
That green really pops right in the middle there. I like that.
You know, it's got the little green,
Yeah.
it's got the blue, you know, the box, we got the natural color and a little bit of color on top. Really excited about this blend. It's right in that sweet spot,
Yeah.
right in the middle. You know, I think it's for a novice smoker and also an experienced smoker.
Sure.
Yeah.
So did you try and keep anything at all the same blend-wise from the Wednesday, or is it just completely 100% going for something different?
Listen, we went for, you know, I think if you liked Wednesday, you're really going to like
How could
this.
you not?
Yeah, I mean, it's in that wheelhouse, but completely different.
Okay.
So it's, you know, Wednesday was all Nicaraguan. This is all Nicaraguan, but completely different farms, seed varieties. So it's a different take on, you know, for me, I hate to say it, but this is what reminds me of what Cuban cigars used to be.
Okay.
And I'm working with the Rey de los Halanos with Pepin. But, you know, to me, Cubans right now are really floral. They're really mild.
Yeah.
This is got some depth and complexity and some
Old school Cuban.
Yeah, it's not, when I smoke a Cuban, I'm always looking for more.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is, again, right in the sweet spot. And then I always like to do a Maduro version.
Yeah.
So similar, this is San Andreas as the wrapper. Fillers are Condega, Esteli, Jalapa also, but the blend is heavier. It's a little bit richer, it's bolder, a little bit more strength, but medium plus to full. Yeah, so these are going to be coming out probably towards the end of April.
All right.
We start shipping to cigar shops around the world. If you like what I'm saying, I mean, I'm stocking up. You know, stock up on them. It's, I hope, one of those cigars that people keeping, you know, as their collector's items, and they just get better with time too. So
I've still got about a box of the original Lanceros. I've only taken a couple out. I'm gonna hang on to that.
Those are in
one.
short supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of people clamoring for them now. You know, you like what you can't get anymore too. So yeah, we also have the Axum, which we had as Matapa.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had an issue with the imagery.
Okay.
And you know, with this industry, there's so many trademark issues.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I haven't had a lot of issues. I had none until having to deal with this. It was the beginning, so I said I don't want to waste time dealing with, you know, going through this long, stressful process. So Axum is where they house the Ark of the Covenant. You know, I love, you know, Indiana Jones and the Ark of the Covenant.
My son's name is Indiana.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Oh man. So this is same blend. This all comes from the same batch of Matapas. So I made all of them in September.
Yeah.
So they've been aging.
Okay.
So same cigar, Sumatra, Ecuador, Connecticut broadleaf is the binder. The Connecticut broadleaf is all of the binder that comes from Tabernacle.
Got it.
So we've been stocking up over the past 3-4 years.
Yeah.
You know, the binder is just not aesthetically, you know, able to use it as wrapper.
Right.
This is a really rich, fuller bodied blend. I've been going crazy on the Claros recently. I've just been smoking through a ton of boxes. So
who's this on the band that we see?
So this is the father of Haile Selassie, who's on the Tabernacle box.
Okay.
He was the governor of Axum. So Axum is in northern Ethiopia. They actually claim to possess the Ark of the Covenant in a small church in the north in Axum.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. It's said to have been there for now. It was said to have been brought by Menelik.
Okay.
About 2,000 years ago.
So you can go visit it right now. It's open to the
Well,
public.
no. There's only one priest
Okay.
that is able to see
I was gonna
this.
say, I feel like I would have heard of this.
There's only, not even the emperors were able to see it.
Wow.
So it's been housed, one priest his whole life is only allowed within the Holy of Holies.
Wow.
And he guards it his whole life. And then on his deathbed, they appoint another person.
Wow.
So these are really serious,
Yeah.
monks that dedicate their life to not leaving. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Not leaving
No.
one place. So this is actually where the wise man also comes from. Interestingly enough, Wawense means wise man, but also Menelik means the wise man. So that's the symbol of Menelik, which is on this box.
Gotcha.
So that's where. So I'm really playing it. It's kind of tying
Tying it
into
together.
tabernacle
Yeah.
is that the the holding place of also the Ark of the Covenant. So
Right.
I find it fascinating because Ethiopia is the only place on earth that every church has a replica of the tablets
Really
of the Ark. Every single church.
interesting.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So their claim is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know
Whether
that.
they have it or not, I don't know.
We'll never know.
You'll never really know, but whatever they have it's of serious historical importance.
Right.
But
Fascinating.
yeah.
Was there anything else new you wanted to show us? Is that I think
Listen,
you covered it all.
we
right?
are doing annual release of the Senechers from High Clare. These will be available in the fall time. We had such a demand. This was our tribute to King Tut's discovery, 100th year. We had such a demand for these. We decided to make it an annual release. So those will be coming out in the fall time. And then we also did the same with the Tabernacle, the Knight Commander.
Yeah.
So these also will be fall release. I think somebody took one out of here. So these, I was actually knighted by the Ethiopian Crown Council.
I remember.
Great honor as a Knight Commander, it's called. So I wanted to give back. So we donate all of our proceeds, go directly to charity, something called the Royal Ethiopian Trust, which I started with Haile Selassie's grandson, Prince Ermias. So we've already raised close to $75,000 for scholarships, education for Ethiopian students. So when you're buying these, it's going to a good cause. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, that's almost all I have for you. Are you looking forward to being in New Orleans next year? Are you dreading
we
it?
launched in New Orleans, so it's coming full circle.
There you go.
Because it's going to be our
So it'll
10th
be
year
exactly 10
anniversary.
years, yeah.
Crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, that
So
wasn't
it
my
should-
favorite location last time, but I'm hoping improvements were made.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. It's
Yeah.
been a while since we've been there, but New Orleans has got some good food, good music.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how it goes.
All right, Nick. I could chat with you for hours, but
Same
we'll
here,
let
man.
you get back to it, man.
I appreciate it. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Foundation Cigars,
Thanks, guys.